Hello, this is Neil from iPaintGirls.com, and in this tutorial we're going to draw someone being sad. I often get requests for emotions. Now, also search my channel. Go to my channel, and then click on all videos, and then you can like type in a keyword, type in something for just type in emotions, and you'll see I have done videos on emotions too. So there are other videos on there, but in this one, just want to cover sadness. So first, it's just kind of like the key placement of your eyes and nose and mouth. And once you have that down, then you can start drawing the shape. So the eyes are a telling for sadness, and typically the shape of the eye for sadness, you can kind of, it's kind of like this, so it kind of has that kind of peak. And the same thing kind of goes for the eyebrow. You can kind of have that little thing for the eyebrow there, or you can bring the eyebrows down lower, something like that. But typically they kind of pinch and they kind of have this look to them. Sometimes the bottom eye will have that look to it too. It depends if like they're crying or something. It might have that kind of shape to it. And then you can have some water and tears coming out. So the eyes are definitely tailing. The nose doesn't really change much, and then the mouth. If you just add a frown like that, let's say you just add a frown to any face, just about, unless the eyes are like popped wide open, it's pretty much going to look sad. But the eyes also help too. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here, and I'm going to kind of draw the eyes with this kind of shape here, this kind of puppy dog look. Don't be afraid to exaggerate the shape of your eyes, of your character, even if it doesn't seem like, the realistic shape of eyes. You don't have to always draw realistic shapes to pull off your character. And I'm going to give him big pupils. Just going to kind of quickly shade some of the eye in there. And then I'll add some light source to the eye. Something like that. Now it's important also when I'm drawing. I wanted to explain this. I wanted to explain it before. Is sometimes it might look like I'm doing what's called sketchy. Sketchy drawing is where you go like this when you want to make long lines, right? And it looks sketchy. So if you want to practice, you want to run smooth line. But sometimes you'll notice I do go over my lines again. But what I'm doing is it's almost as if I'm not taking my hand. Remember I was showing that technique where you just keep drawing over the same line without taking your hand off, and then you want to draw some shape like this, and then continually going over it without lifting your pen off the paper. So practice that technique, because that's pretty much what I'm doing when I draw a line, and I go over my line again. I don't go here and then here and I don't connect it like that. If I draw the line, or if it's a long line, I go over it again, to get it. So anyway, because you want to make sure your lines are smooth. And I'm going to give him just a simple nose here. I don't want to spend too much time on the nose. Something like that. And I know like over here is about where the cheek's going to be. But it's about a half an eye out. That's where you have this part of the head start taking shape here. And then the cheek comes out just a little bit. And I might as well start to kind of put in the jawline here and the chin. Something about like that. And then we'll go ahead and put a neck in there. Alright, so I could go ahead and draw a hairline in here, I guess. Just some basic ears and maybe some basic hair shape like that. Right now we have like kind of something we're looking at. But you can tell just those eyes in themselves, without drawing anything else, already kind of have that sad look to them. Right, so now I'm going to do the eyebrows. And for eyebrows, you want to kind of pinch it in a little bit. Kind of come up with the shape of the eye, and you can kind of come across like this. And it's going to be something like that. So the basic cartoon shape then for a sad eyebrow is like this. It's similar to a mad, but it kind of just goes like that. And it kind of does look angry, but you have to kind of pinch it up more like that, and then when the eyes are done right, it doesn't look. And also you can just kind of come like that too, or just kind of come low. And then you can have little pinches like that. Anyway, there's different ways you can do it. But I notice the eyebrows are pinched close together. And you could even add wrinkle to the forehead here and like there if you wanted to really make it look like he's more sad. Okay, so far so good. I think I made his eyes a little close together, and this one's a little bit big. So I'm going to just reduce the size a little bit. Kind of make sure they're kind of the same size there, and then move it over to the left just a tad. Which means I'm also going to move the eyebrow over just a little bit. You can also test out like what would it look like if you had the eyebrows a little bit more like that, and you can also do that for sadness as well. You can draw each part on a separate layer too if you want, and then just test out what it would look like if you moved things around. So kind of angling the eyebrows like that, kind of even add a more sadness effect. Right, so the next thing we need is the lips then. So I'm going to draw the middle of the lip first, and I want to kind of, bring it down, so he kind of looks sad. And typically you don't draw the upper lip for comics, for guys, but I might add a little bit of upper lip there. So notice he looks really sad now. And that's pretty much it. I mean, all it takes is just slightly manipulating the character's face expressions, and just knowing what type of shapes convey what expressions. So typically, that the middle lip, for sadness, kind of comes down on the edges, and you can kind of add those little lines to exaggerate it more. You can add a slight pout to the lip here like that, making one part go down a little bit further than the other. And then with the eyes, eyebrows first is that one you could kind of pinch the center like I did, and then you can kind of angle the whole eyebrow down like that. So if the eye is here, the eyebrow's kind of going around the eye like that. Also, it's the shape of the eye, so you can have that kind of. So first you draw like the normal realistic shape of an eye, which is kind of like an almond. Right, so you have something like this. Then you can kind of just distort that a little bit, like where it has more of a shape like that. And then you can kind of bring up that eyelid a little bit, and that adds, sadness look to, which is what I did here. I kind of gave him more cartoony eyes, larger cartoony eyes, which really brings out the sadness. And there's nothing wrong with that when you exaggerate an expression. So, like in a comic book, for example, there's nothing wrong with his eyes still too big. There's nothing wrong with exaggerating your eyes a little bit for that particular scene. That particular panel. That is, you could make his eyes a little bit bigger than they normally would be, and that's fine. As long as it still captures his overall look. Oops, I meant to grab the eraser here. Let's erase some of this. Construct lines don't need to be there. I should have done that in a separate layer, so that way I could just, get rid of that layer altogether. Right, if I wanted to, I could you could add some other parts to his face construction. For example, if he's more of a detailed character and you want to kind of add some, big eyebrow part, the forehead part, you can add that in there. And all that would be, shaded depending on where the light's coming from. Of course, this would be a kind of more ugly guy that, typically it's ugly guys that have the big, eyebrow parts there. So you got to decide if he wants to have that. You can also just give him a little bit of distinction just right here, and maybe a little bit right there. Kind of convey his cheekbone, and you can convey that muscle just a little bit if you wanted to. Maybe a little bit there. And now he looks a little different. So, yeah. Hopefully this helps you in doing your faces. Also, if I wanted to change his chin structure, I could. I can give him more mighty chin that comes out to there. And give them that more mighty chin, makes them look more masculine. You can also give them a thinner chin. I think in the next tutorial I'm going to show like how to draw men that have more masculine look and men that have more feminine look, but still drawing good looking men. All right, thank you for watching.